to another episode of Passing Time with Craig. As always, I'm your host, Craig McFarland, and we're continuing to social distance, so we're not in the same room, but that's okay. But I'm joined today by Ben Price, a Calgary-based magician and entertainer. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Craig. Thanks for
Hi.
having me.
Thanks for being here. We were supposed to do this a while ago, and then
Indeed, yeah.
the world went crazy.
Yes. I was in Mexico and we were talking on over text, like, I wonder if this is gonna happen. Doesn't look
Yeah.
like it. And the day I got back, you're like, cannot do these anymore.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, I mean, eventually we'll get back together, then we can actually be in the same room. But for
Indeed.
now, this works.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're. I like using the word entertainer because you're not just a magician, you're not just a comedian. You do a lot. You entertain, which is fantastic.
I appreciate that.
But you started performing magic when you were like 6.
Yeah.
How did you get into magic, and how did it stay with you as opposed to other kids who move on to a new pastime?
I have the cliche get into magic story with, I received a kit for Christmas once from my grandparents, and because it was an interest for me. I think every small child is interested in magic at some point. They see, at a birthday party or at a Christmas party, they see a magician. They're like, I want to do that. And that was the same for me. So I got a kit and I practiced and kind of, I've always been, I don't know, flighty. So magic was a really good way for me to be able to sit down and focus on something, because you're constantly working even though you're still. So I enjoyed it for that reason. And then I was interested in theater and performance, and I went to school for that. So yeah, throughout my high school, um, terrible high school experience, I was in theater all the time. And then I went to university for theatrical production. So I'm trained in like lighting and sound and stage management. And then while I was going to university, I was doing magic shows on the side, just, make a little extra cash with something that I have all these props and stuff. I may as well use them.
Yeah.
And when I graduated, I was just able to take more and more shows, and I just sort of fell into it as a career more than I'm going to do this.
Well, and so yeah, you mentioned you went to school, University of British Columbia, and took Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to other verse entertainers before, because I think it's very important for you to. It helps you as a stage performer to have that backstage experience, or as a writer or as a director. It must really come in handy for doing a show like yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, an acting degree would have done me some good, but I don't want to sound braggy, but there's, if you can get up on stage and you have a natural presence, you can learn that pretty well on your own. But learning the technical side of things, it helps to have that hands-on experience. So I think the combination of just being, naturally a performer where, I don't really care if I make a fool of myself, but learning all those other things really helps me to go out and do things like Fringe tours or four-wall my own shows, because I have that base knowledge in terms of lighting and set and backstage knowledge. So
yeah. So you've done lots of different types of shows, including the Fringe Fest. It's unfortunate that a bunch of Fringe festivals, unfortunately, are canceled this year. But
I think the only ones that are left, I think, are Victoria, Vancouver, and Halifax, and they'll be gone shortly, I'm sure.
So when this all goes back to, us allowed to interact with the people, why are things like Fringe Fest so important to entertainers?
I guess for a couple of reasons. One, for new performers, it's a really good way, if they can get in on the lottery, to just try it, because you have 6 shows, right, over the course of the festival. And there's rarely ever a time where you can, as a performer or creator, put out your own material for 6 shows over, 11 consecutive days. And if you do a nice tour, you can perform, 50, 60 times during the course of the summer. So it's just a really good way to get your material out there and do it repetitively. So I liked it for that reason the first year I did it. And then the second year, you start getting this following. Even though I'd only done it 1 year, people remembered my show and me, and they wanted to come out. So it started to be a really good way to make money. And it's a good place to find new stuff because it's all unjured. It's lottery. So
Yeah.
you get you get some really good stuff, but you also get some really bad stuff. But the Fringe festivals are just great for all those reasons. You find new stuff, you can try new material. There's a crowd that, the festival does it all for you, brings the crowd in. All you have to do is worry about performing.
Yeah. No, they're fantastic. Now, as a fellow entertainer, I know what it's like when you can make that audience laugh. Like,
Mm-hmm.
is that just not like the greatest high ever?
Yeah, I love that. I love performing and doing it for that reason. I mean, without your audience, you don't really have a show.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for my audiences when I have them, and I love that I can make a collective group of people feel whatever it is I'm trying to make them feel: joy, sorrow, happiness. Usually, I don't think I've ever made an audience feel sorry.
Not
Well,
intentionally,
maybe.
anyway.
Yeah, not intentionally. They might be like, oh God, I'm sorry I came to this show.
And you have, like, magic shows in particular have such a unique type of audience because you get, we've had your friend and often person you perform with, Jeff Newman, on before, and we talked about
Yeah.
how there's such a variety of people in the audience, because you have the people that are like, he's a wizard, and then you have the others that's like, no, I saw how he did it. I saw how he did it.
Yeah, even when they didn't really see how you did it, they're going to say that. Yeah, there's a variety of people, and Jeff is a little different from me in that he's not so much, he's a very scripted performer. So he doesn't diverge from his patter as much as I do, because if you make, the tiniest peep in my show, I'll call you out for it. So I think people in my show are a little more hesitant to bad talk or heckle.
Yeah.
I do get it, but not as much. But there are all sorts, and you meet all kinds of people. And Jeff has a really good story. I'm sure he told you about the lady that came to his show and thought he was an actual demon.
Oh yeah,
Gave
yeah.
him Bible verses and things like that. So that's the total extreme.
Yeah.
But there's smaller variations in between there of people who are into it and want to see the magic, and people who are coming to the show to catch you out. And I'm fine with either. I don't care. I have your money now. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm there to prove that you're a wizard. I believe in it.
I
Like,
believe in the magic.
I do. I'm a nerd like that. But so you've done a bunch of different events, and you're always available. And so, like, because even corporate events you can go to. You've done Fringe Fest, comedies. But you also can be hired for Walkaround Magic,
Mm.
like, which I think is very interesting and a different type of thing. So explain
Yeah.
that to people.
Well, obviously the main difference between a stage show like you'd see at the Fringe or a corporate, well, you see walk around at corporate events, but a stage show is that we're very distant, and I'm doing it for 25 to 170,000 people. I wish. For walk around, it's usually a small group of 3 to 5, and that's probably the maximum, and it's just a totally different experience. I love close-up magic. I absolutely love performing it. You don't get to do it often. People don't want to. It's a hard thing to sell, because people who are having either like a wedding or a corporate function where it's you want to mingle with those business people, they don't want to be interrupted, so it's a hard sell. So you have to walk up to these people and be like, hey, I'm going to show you something really amazing, and you have to really sell that to that small group, because if you can't, you're screwed. But I love close up one-on-one, because when it happens and they're watching so closely and you can fool them right in front of their eyes, there's nothing better than that feeling, for me and for them. I think I would love that. I love to be fooled.
Yeah, and it's not just 5-year-olds; it's 55-year-olds.
That's the thing, and I get that all the time when I tell people what I do. They're like, "Oh, my kids would love you," and I can tell you right now, they won't. I'm not a kids entertainer. They will not like my show. But I don't understand that disconnect that there is in terms of magic being only for kids.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
There's a reason why there's so many shows in Vegas that are
Yes. Yeah. I've never used that as an argument before, but I should.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I mean, nobody can do anything in Vegas right now anyways.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, there are not so many shows in Vegas right now.
When was it what was the show or moment for you that you were like, you know what, I'm just going to continue with this. This is what I want to do.
It actually, it's not too far away from like a day that's coming. I think it was April 11th, 3 years ago. It was a show that I four-walled myself. It was in April because it was going to be my first summer tour coming up that summer, and I had never performed for the public, selling myself. So people buying individual tickets to the show. I'd performed at corporate events and things like that, but never four-walled and sold my own show. So I organized this show at the Empress Theater in Fort Macleod, Alberta. And I was just going to put it up. It was Rabbit Stew. It was the first Fringe show that I had put together. And it didn't sell out. I had maybe 100 people.
Yeah.
And it went so well. I had one hiccup. I had one messed up trick that didn't work. And I did actually eventually end up cutting it out of the actual show. I had it ready every night, but I never did it because I was so nervous about it getting messed up. So I never did it. But the show went well. It was received well. People, I always greet people after the shows that I do. I try to say hello to everybody. And people were loving it, giving me really good, comments and praise about the show. So I was like, yeah, okay, I can do this. And then my Fringe tour that summer ended up also going really well. So, yeah. I have training in other theatrical elements. So I was like, I can always do that. And I do still do work in theater as a production manager or stage manager, but this is my primary thing now. And I think it will be for a while.
Well, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
now, so other people who want to do shows like this,
Mhm.
or any type of show,
Mhm.
and you create this all, what do you like when you have that moment? It's a trick that you want to include,
Mhm.
and you keep wanting to do it, for example, and
Mhm.
you're just like, it's not working out. When do you make that decision, and how do you feel like that's okay that you're making this change?
To cut something out, to
Yeah.
not do something. I mean, I don't want to feel like this is a bad answer, but I think never. I think if you like that trick or that effect or even a bit of scripting or something, I think work on it constantly. Why not? That's your job. Obviously, if you have a show coming up, I've obviously moved things out of the show or right in the moment. Like I said, I had that. It was a trick with a balloon, and the balloon at the Empress at the first show, the public show I did, it just floated up to the ceiling. So I was like, I can't do that because I can't reach it. Obviously, in that instance, I think go ahead and call that one a loss and cut it out. But I'm constantly working on new things all the time to put into my show, and I think the challenge is to have enough material that you can put a show together,
Right.
not having to worry about, oh geez, I have to include that, but it's not really that great yet. You don't want to be in that position. So have your core things and the things that you're really good at. And even if you have to, people always say, well, I need an hour. You don't need to do an hour. I know a lot of workers that go out and do 30-minute, 25-minute shows, and they just kill that material. And I think that's a better way to look at it. If you have 15 minutes of really strong material, cut out what is not great and do your solid 15, because people will be entertained, and that's what we want.
Totally. No, you bring up a very great point, that it's just like, if you got the strong stuff, just do that. Don't worry
Yeah.
about how long it is. Like,
Yeah.
we're getting talking about like movies and TV shows. You look at Netflix now, and how before, growing up on cable, an actual episode was only like 22 minutes long.
Yeah, exactly.
For a comedy. For a drama, it's like an hour-long drama, it's 44 minutes. But now on Netflix, you've got shows that are 10 minutes long up to 46 minutes. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, and I think about your audience too, like the types of shows that are, 5 minutes or 10 minutes long. Think about who you're performing for, because if and what the purpose is. So even like cartoons, when I was a kid, you could watch, there'd be in that half-hour slot 2 15-minute cartoons,
yeah,
same cartoon but different episodes, so different stories being told. So even
exactly.
think of it in terms of that. If you have two sets of 15 or two sets of 10 or something like that, do 10, take an intermission, do another 10 if they're two separate thoughts. So yeah, constantly thinking about what is the purpose behind this performance, this particular show.
Right. Now, did you come from an entertainment type family? Like, is this an anomaly?
uh
Like, what's happening here?
so my dad is a plumber. Has been my entire life, still is. Still, he works for a plumbing company. I don't know how much plumbing he actually does anymore. My mom has, when I was going to school, she was a stay-at-home mom. She just took care of us and babysat a couple of other kids.
Yeah.
But no one's an entertainer. I have a cousin who's going to school to be a lawyer. My uncles and my grandpa are all pilots. They're funny people.
Yeah.
I think they're all funny, but no entertainment. I'm kind of the breakout there. Diverged a little from the plan.
That's fun that way, right?
Yeah, I think so. Keeps them entertained at least.
Yeah. And you've done a lot of traveling too, and gone to different places. Where are some cool places that you've performed shows at?
Um, cool places I perform shows at.
Cool to
Jeez.
you. It doesn't have to be cool for
Cool to
everybody.
me. Well, I always go back to, I when I was going to school, I was living in Vancouver, and I love Vancouver. It is my home away from home away from home, because I'm not originally from Calgary either. So I loved going back to Vancouver for the festivals, because I got to visit friends. I love the city. I just love being there. So I'd have to say Vancouver is my top. I was lucky enough to take another show as a stage manager there this summer, or winter rather. It was in February, I think. Can't remember now. And that was great. And back to Victoria. I just love the west coast of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived in Victoria for like 10 years. So,
Oh,
I mean,
really? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I love
So
it. Love it out
I
there.
miss it. And so it's rainy days in Calgary that I'm like, ah.
Today, I know I
Yeah.
have my window open right here. It's the smell, it's great, and the
Oh, it's
sound,
fantastic.
love it.
I know. I mean, the mountains are beautiful and it's great to see them.
Yes,
Yeah,
oh for sure. You can
kind of.
see those on the west coast though.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
look the other way.
Yeah. And so you're keeping busy during this time,
Yeah.
as one has to.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple things you're doing. First of all, you're doing live lessons on
Yeah.
your Facebook and Instagram.
Mm-hmm. I thought, um and the first couple of days I was like, what am I gonna do? I was just down because all my shows were canceled. I had a really full season up until Fringe, and then it was gonna be Fringe and then nothing.
Yeah,
So I was really down. I'm like, oh, okay, no, nothing. I thought, well, let's do something. And I had all these, as I think every magician does, has a bookshelf full of books and material and DVDs and all these learning utensils.
yeah,
Um, and I thought, let's teach some of the beginner stuff to whoever wants to watch that. Teaching magic's a pretty, not taboo, but frowned upon thing from some magicians.
yeah.
So I did get some flack, but I'm of the mindset that if you don't teach other people, eventually this will just die as an art.
Oh, yeah,
So I'm fine with teaching, beginner stuff, because the people that learn that beginner stuff are, if they're interested in it, will continue on and learn harder things. And those who aren't will stick with those beginner things and never look into the stuff you're doing in your professional show. So if you're doing the things I'm teaching in your professional show, I think you have another bigger issues.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm teaching every Tuesday and Friday. I'm doing a live lesson, and it's simple, like materials that you can find at home, obviously, because you can't go out and buy, a dove cage and doves. Um,
I'm waiting for that lesson. I'm waiting for
yeah,
that.
the doves from the pockets.
Yeah.
It's great. You need 7 doves for this lesson. That's it. So it's simple stuff, beginner stuff, and I I show you the trick, and then I teach you, and then the next day, usually I didn't for the last two. I usually release like supplementary material on YouTube, so you can go back and watch the lesson again without all the interruption of whatever the Facebook Live posts become.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's fun, and I like that. And this is the time for people to learn some new tricks, or maybe learn stuff that they've wanted to do but never done before.
Yeah, I agree. Try something new every day. Why not?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
else? What's gonna go wrong? Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, depends on what you want to try every day, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Try something
and then
safe
of
and
course
smart every day.
you also have started up your own. It's called Calgary Basement Sessions.
Yeah. Calgary Basement Sessions right there. Look at that.
Look at that! Boom.
Business card.
So fancy.
Thank you.
I've got a card somewhere. I don't know where it
Yeah.
went. Trying to organize my life, and I feel like I just needed.
It's not gonna happen. It's it's COVID days. You're never gonna.
It's awful because now people can actually do spring cleaning. Like, I've actually got boxes of stuff that I want to donate and close, but
Right.
nothing's open for us to donate to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where do I take this? Just leave it outside.
Yeah, well, it's mostly like Tupperware containers. That's when you know you're an adult, when you're finally going through your Tupperware container.
And organize. This has no lid. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a few.
This is a lid, no bottom.
So, you do Calgary Basement Sessions with your roommate, also Ben.
Yes, also a Ben. There's a lot of Bens in this house. So Ben is from Scotland. He moved here to live with his girlfriend, also my roommate, Shelby. They met on a cruise ship. She was singing on a cruise ship. He was playing the drums. It was love at first sight. And so he moved here to live with her, and to get, into the Calgary music scene, he thought, I want to bring people to the house and have some jams with them. And we were talking about that and what that could look like, and then thought, why don't we, interview the people or record the people and release them as something. And that's how Calgary Basement Sessions was born. Obviously, we're not having people through the house at the moment. We're not doing any of the live sessions, but we're doing podcasts still. So we're interviewing them about their albums, because musicians are still releasing stuff. They can still record from home and release material. So we're talking to musicians and getting podcasts out there as you are. So you can find that at Calgary Basement Sessions on Instagram, Facebook, and iTunes, and wherever you listen to podcasts. I think they're all available. Yeah.
No, it's great. And I love what you're doing, because it's just, and now more than ever, it's so important that we support these amazing, talented people we have in this city. Yeah,
they're not making any money from their art. The least you could do is give them a listen or a review on Facebook and YouTube or whatever it is. Just show them that you're supportive of them continuing in their art, because what else do they do? Yeah,
exactly. Well, I understand you've got some tricks for me.
Yeah, I have two things.
Okay.
One thing one thing's a card trick. All magicians have to do card tricks.
That's fair.
I think it's one of the crux of the art. So I'm going to try to do the old pick a card, find a card trick. Obviously, I can't give you a deck of cards or give you an option of 52 because we're not in the same room. So what I'd like you to do is have a look at those and just think of one of those cards.
Okay.
You got one?
Yeah.
Great. And then I'm going to try and read your mind, and I'm going to try to remove the card you're thinking of. I'm going to go with that one. So if this has gone correctly, there was 6. I've taken out 1. There's 5 now. Is your card gone?
Yes.
Yes. Killed it. Picked a card, found a card. Classic card trick. And everyone can try that at home too. Don't rewind. Never rewind. Don't rewind. Key. So there's a lot of great Calgary landmarks, and none of us can go to them. We can't be out and doing the things we love to do. So I thought we'd take a virtual trip to a Calgary landmark. So first, I'll give some explanation. I just have to stand up here because I have to be able to see my screen, but I'm covering it with this big white thing. Can you read those?
Yes.
You can. Lovely. And can you still hear me okay?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so we have these locations around Calgary Telus Spark, the Zoo, Kensington, Canada Olympic Park, all really great places to visit. In a moment, I'll get you to choose one. You can put your finger right on your screen if you want. You can touch it and follow along. And then I'm going to get you to move. The only rule about moving is I don't want you to ever go diagonally.
Okay.
So up and down, side to side, backwards, forward, that is up to you. So pick a location right now. Don't say it out loud, obviously.
Okay.
Just put your finger on it.
Okay, it's on it.
You got it? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Now to make this a little harder on myself, I'm going to add some more locations to the mix. So we've got Prince's Island Park. I drew these myself, by the way.
They're well done.
Thank you. Prince's Island Park. That was just one of the light posts they have down there.
Okay.
We've got the Peace Bridge. I drew that. I think that's the best drawing.
That's pretty good.
To be honest. What else we got? We've got the Calgary Tower, King Eddie, the music thing. This was a little messed up, but you have your finger on your location, and then what I'm going to get you to do is from wherever you started, just move 4 spaces as I count. So up or down, side to side, 4 spaces. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you're on a new location, yeah?
Yep.
Great. I don't think we're at the King Eddie, so I'm going to take that off. You're on a new location. I'm going to get you to move 5 spaces now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You're on a new location. Now, unfortunately, one of my favorite spots is Kensington, but I don't think you're there. I love going to higher ground in Kensington, the coffee shop there. It's delicious. From wherever you are now, I'm going to get you to move 2 spaces. 1, 2. Okay. You got it? Okay. Yeah. I don't think you're at the Telus Spark, so we're going to get rid of that. It's a good place to go, Science Center. From here, 3 spots. Doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3. And you're at a new location? Yep. Great. I don't think you're in Prince's Island Park, and I don't think you're on the Peace Bridge either. So we'll get rid of those. From here, I'd like you to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Not much going on there, and I think they're taking it down. So, and I don't think you're at Canada Olympic Park, so I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah. And then from wherever you are now, Craig, I'd just like you to move 1 space. Okay. Got it. You done? Yeah. Remember that location. I'm going to sit back down. Do you have your phone handy? Yes. You do. Can you get your phone out and you follow me on Instagram, yeah? Yep. Yeah. So you landed on a space. You head to Instagram. I posted a picture this morning of a place that I love to go in Calgary. And it'll be on my it's one of my favorite exhibits to visit. What was the picture I posted, Craig? The Calgary Zoo. The Calgary Zoo. And is that the place you landed? Yeah. Yeah. And did you read the description? Because that's important. The description's always important. Yep. One thing I'm really missing in isolation is the Calgary Zoo. That's why I took Craig on a virtual adventure. There you go. So hopefully one day we can actually go to the Calgary Zoo and see the pandas. Yes, please. Together. Let's do that. Yeah. Oh, that was. See, this is like I just I get so into it. I think you're a wizard. I am 100%. I knew it. Which house would you be in Hogwarts? In Hogwarts, I think I've done a test, and I think I'm a Hufflepuff. No. Yeah. Yeah. Jeff would actually know. It was Hannah, his fiance, who told me. Yeah. Well, that's fair. As we start to wind up here, we've got lots of time on our hand. What's a show or movie that you would recommend to people to binge or view while we're, got nothing else going on other than Tiger King? Yeah. Okay. Other than Tiger King, I love, you have to have obviously the streaming platform, but I love The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It is so good, and it's on Amazon Prime. Yeah. So give that a watch. It's fantastic. It's funny. It's well written. It's a cool aesthetic. I just love it. Yeah. No, I've seen lots of clips from it. I've heard lots of good things. I think I need to get Prime again so I can watch it. Yeah, definitely do that. I would recommend that. It's worth it just for that show. Or The Hunters. The Hunters, I think, is on Amazon Prime as well. Oh,
yeah, that's the one with Al
So
Pacino,
good.
right?
Yes. Yeah. So good.
There's a lot of great stuff right now, and
Yes.
there's
Yeah.
time to watch it.
hmm
What is there any movies involving like magic that you recommend to people?
One of my favorite magic movies is The Illusionist.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, there are a couple of good ones out there. There's The Illusionists. There's a really good documentary. I don't know if it's on Netflix still, but it's called The Magicians, and it highlights a lot of really cool magicians that I like and follow. One of them has since passed away, but it's a great documentary about life as a magician.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming on today.
Hey, no problem. Thanks
It
for
was
having me.
super fun. I definitely want to have you back on again.
hmm
So people you're on Facebook and Instagram, Ben Price Magic.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, all at Ben Price Magic. It's all the same. You can also find me on our Newman and Price Perfectly Normal podcast at Newman and Price. And of course, we talked about YYC Basement Sessions. You can find me there as well.
So yeah, I mean, people can just be overwhelmed by you, and
It's true, yeah. If you do one thing at a time, you'll get sick of me. But I'm all over the place.
you're a busy guy. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you coming on and blowing my mind. That was crazy.
no problem. I'm glad it was blown.
I'm pretty simple-minded, but it's good. Everyone, check out Ben Price Magic on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. You
Mm,
won't be disappointed. Check out his live lessons Tuesdays and Fridays, and of
yeah,
course, basement sessions.
yeah,
So
all
much to
that.
do.
So much.
And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Passing Time with Craig, or follow us on Instagram at PTW Craig for all the more updates. And we'll chat soon.